Hello everyone, we've got quite a nice projectile question here. So it says a small stone is projected with a speed of 65 meters per second from a point O at the top of a cliff. The point O is 70 meters vertically above the point N. The point N is on horizontal ground. The stone is projected at an angle of alpha above the horizontal where tan alpha is 5/12. The stone hits the ground at point A as shown in figure 3. The stone is modelled as a particle moving freely under gravity. Acceleration due to gravity is, take it as 10 meters per second, that's important. Using the model, find the time taken for the stone to travel from O to A. Okay, so, well, in this particular question, we've been given the angle of elevation in terms of tan. So let's just use that to work out our corresponding expressions for cosine and sine. So tan is opposite over adjacent, so that's 5/12. So that's a Pythagorean triple, so that's going to be 5/12, 13. So that means that we know that tan alpha we're given is 5/12. We can say that cosine of alpha is going to be 12/13. And we can say that sine alpha is 5/13. So that's our first step, just to get that there for background information. Now, we only have two tools really available to us in a projectile question: resolve vertically and resolve horizontally. So let's just resolve vertically. And when we're resolving vertically, we're going to be using SUVATs because we have motion under gravity. So I start off by writing down S, U, V, A, and T. And we think about what each of those corresponding things are. So when it hits the stone at A, when the stone hits the ground at A, its vertical displacement from where it was projected is minus 70. Okay. The vertical component of its speed is going to be 65 sine alpha. So if I write down there 65 sine alpha, but we know that sine alpha is 5/13, okay? So it's actually 65 times by 5 divided by 13. So 65 times by 5 is 325. So it's 325/13 is the vertical component of its speed. We're not worried about how fast it's moving when it hits the ground. We're going to be working that out in part B. Acceleration due to gravity is minus 10 in this case, because when it's projected, gravity is decelerating the stone. So you always go from that point of projection. And we're trying to find out the time, that's what we're trying to find. Now we're given the SUVAT equations in the formula booklet, and the one that we're going to need is S is equal to UT add half AT squared, because that's the SUVAT that does not involve V. So we can sub in our information now, so minus 70 is equal to 325/13 times by t minus 10/2 times by t squared. So from this we have a quadratic. That's going to be minus 5t squared. If I bring that over to the left, that's going to give us 5t squared. So we've dealt with that term. And it's going to be minus 325/13t minus 70 equals 0. Right, let's have a look and see what this 325 divided by 13 is 25. So that's quite nice actually. So let's just simplify our quadratic that we're about to solve. Okay, so here we go. So this is the same as 5t squared minus 25t minus 70 equals 0. We can divide everything by 5, so that's going to give us t squared minus 5t minus 14 is equal to 0. Okay, so that's going to factorise quite nicely, isn't it? Because we're looking for two numbers that times together to make minus 14 and add together to make minus 5. So that is t minus 7 and t plus 2 equals 0. So t is equal to 7 or t is equal to minus 2. Now the time is greater than 0, so we don't want that solution, so t is 7. So that's part A done for 4 marks. Quite a nice 4 marks there. Part B, find the speed of the stone at the instant when it hits the ground. Now, it's worth 5 marks, okay? And notice the way it said speed. So what we've got to do when they do this is we need to find the vertical and the horizontal component. So we need to find the vertical component of the velocity and the horizontal component of the velocity, because we're going to find the magnitude of those two to find the speed. So let's resolve horizontally, and first of all consider the horizontal component of the velocity. Now, it's worth noting that there is no acceleration in the horizontal direction. So therefore, the horizontal component of the velocity is going to just be 65 times by cos alpha. And we found that cos alpha earlier on, we found was 12/13. Okay, so therefore it's 65 times 12/13. Let's just put that whole thing into the calculator. 65 times by 12 divided by 13 is 60. So that is that is 60. There we go. So the horizontal component of the velocity is 60. Now let's resolve vertically now and see what the vertical component of the velocity was when it hit the ground. So SUVAT minus 70. We know that the initial component of the velocity we found was 65 times by sine alpha, which was the 325 divided by 13. So let's just see that again. 325 divided by 13, that was 25. Okay, so that's 25. V, that's what we're trying to find. A is minus 10. T, we do know it's 7 seconds, so we're kind of spoilt for choice here. So I'm going to say let's use V is equal to U plus AT. So V is equal to U plus AT. Let's have a look. So we're trying to find out V. We know that U is 25. We know the acceleration is minus 10, and we know that T is 70. So therefore V is going to be 25 minus 70. So we've got 25 minus 70, so we have minus 45. Okay, so which means it's traveling at 45 meters per second, but in the opposite direction to which it was projected. So we now have our vertical and our horizontal components of the velocity. So here we have 45, and here we have 60. So speed is equal to the magnitude of the velocity. So we just need 60 squared add minus 45 squared, and we square root that. And when we work that out, that turns out to be 75 meters per second. So the speed is 75 meters per second, and that's the answer for part B, 5 marks. Really nice and quite straightforward. It says one limitation of the model is that it ignores air resistance. State another limitation. I think the most obvious one in this particular question is we could use a more accurate value of g, because we've modelled acceleration due to gravity on Earth as being 10 meters per second, when really we know it's like 9.8 or 9.81 if you're going to be a little bit more accurate. So that's an improvement that we could make. Take a more accurate value for g. I think that's the obvious go-to one in this particular question. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. Remember, if you're finding these videos useful, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that's going to help me keep on making more videos for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.